Seattle to this day continues to grow and defy all odds. It is now the tech hub of America. Well, at least in my eyes, it's going to be. But don't worry, if you are looking for affordable housing here in Washington State, especially near Seattle, there is still some perfect opportunities for you. Today, you are in for a treat because I'm going to bless you with some top suburbs that provide you the best bang for your buck and affordability for you if you're looking to live here within the tech hub of North America known as Seattle. My name is George.rodriguez. I am a local realtor here in the Seattle-Tacoma area, and if you are new to the channel, there's a couple things that might just help you out. Hitting the like button, subscribing, and also ringing the bell so you don't miss any future videos that could possibly help you with moving around Seattle. Let's get things started off by actually exploring up north to see what you're going to be able to have in terms of the affordable living if you're going to be above Seattle. Let's get things started with Arlington, and this is going to be the furthest north on this list, but of course I want you to pay a good idea in terms of it's around 50 minutes to an hour away on the time of day in which you're going, or 48 miles away. Now, when you're considering Arlington, this is going to be more of a smaller farm town or just a smaller tight-knit community in comparison to what you're going to be seeing further south. Now, they do have all the amenities that you're going to need and what a town can provide. They are going to have a hospital there. That's going to be the Cascade Valley Hospital. But in comparison, you are going to get a good affordability because now the average median sale price is going to be sitting around $552,000. And that's quite the deal when you're going to be comparing to anything else when you start going further south. Next, we are going to have Marysville. And when you are going to consider Marysville, you are getting just a little bit closer to Seattle in comparison to Arlington. You're now going to be 35 miles away, and you are still shaving some money off that average median sale price of what you're going to be seeing on a price tag for a home. Because now you're looking at $650,000 in comparison to what you were seeing in Arlington. Now, you are going to have something definitely below that price range. I don't want you to think that this is the only thing you can pay to get in here, because you're definitely going to have a lot of potential to actually buy property here within this area. Now, when in terms of what you're going to be seeing in the rest of the state, now, this place in Marysville is actually going to be very safe in comparison to what you're going to be seeing in Seattle. Now, in terms of the crime rates here, you basically cut that in half. So it's a very good idea in terms of you're going to have a nice family area that actually presents a good safety for the community and yourself. Of course, that could count in terms of there being a less populous area. But of course, that's neither here or there. But Marysville is going to be a good idea for you in terms of if you want decent amenities, because they have everything for you to keep you within the city limits. But if you are going to need to go a little further out, you do have that option as well. We are getting ever so closer to Seattle because now we're going just a little bit down to Everett. Now I have one of my good friends. He does live in Everett as well. You know, the funny thing is whenever I hear someone living in Everett, I'm like, man, you live that far north. But hey, there's places for everybody in any shape or size. You know what I mean? But of course, when it does come to Everett, your average median sale price is going to be sitting at $622,000. Now, of course, this is going to be a little bit below what Marysville had, but of course, I want you to pay attention to that. Things do change every month to month depending on what kind of properties are being sold. Now, this area is going to be very affordable, especially when you start getting into the downtown area, because they do have different types of properties to be able to cater to different types of folks. It's very beautiful in how I did that, you know? When it does come to Everett, you are going to have some amenities and some activities for you to enjoy in this area. You are going to have a hockey team. The Silver Tips are going to be playing here, as well as the Combat Museum and the Flight Museum that are located within Everett. And you also have some waterfront properties to enjoy too. Look, Everett is a diamond in the rough. If you want to live that far up north, honestly, I want to say you can compare it to Tacoma. In my personal opinion, they do have their ups and downs in terms of what they can provide, and you are still going to be within that city area where it's going to take you around 35 to 40 minutes to get to Seattle. So in comparison, to me, I think it is a good thing to actually compare it to. So Everett could be a very good location for you to enjoy. What do you think? The next one on this list is going to be a little pocket, a little diamond in the rough, because you're going to be so close to Seattle, it's kind of going to blow your mind. Being 15 minutes away, it's going to be Mount Lake Terrace. Now, with Mount Lake Terrace, the average median sale price will be sitting around $600,000. Honestly, there is going to be some bang for the buck bargains that can get you actually beneath that's around $560,000 to $570,000. Don't call me crazy, but there is a chance for that. When you're going to consider Mount Lake Terrace, you kind of would be shooting yourself in the foot if you're going to be staying within the city limits or bounds in terms of just living here in that area, because Seattle is 15 miles away, so why not enjoy in terms of all of the amenities that they have to offer in terms of the museums, the outdoor lifestyle, the clubs, the food, the outdoor activities to actually enjoy with your loved ones and families. So, Mount Lake Terrace does present a good opportunity for you if you're trying to sneak a good affordable possibility for you to purchase here in that area. The last one, if you're going to be considering anything up north, is going to be Linwood. Now, Linwood is a beautiful place because you're going to get an honest, Honest opinion, you're going to have one of the best areas up north in comparison because you're going to have every single amenity you would need. And honestly, you don't need to leave Lenwood at all. It's really transcended over the last 10 to 15 years because now there is going to be a ton of new construction here in this area. If you are trying to enjoy a bigger house that you're not able to get in terms of being within the city limits of Seattle, or maybe you just want new construction because you don't want to deal with the possibilities of the fixings of what an older property could present to you, or you want that white picket lifestyle because you are possibly going to get it here. And in terms of the average median sale price, you're going to be sitting at $760,000, which honestly is going to be a sneeze in comparison to what you're going to be seeing within Seattle, Bellevue, Redmond. Now, you're going to be actually really close to all these areas because you're only going to be 17 miles away. So you get every single thing you could possibly want in terms of being within the city bounds of Seattle. And it's going to be a very big blessing for you because it's going to be at your fingertips. If you are enjoying this video, it would be a huge help. Well, I mean, a big help to me if you would share this with someone else, because if you're looking to actually purchase a property here within the Seattle area, I will do my absolute best to find one that perfectly fits within your budget, okay, as reasonably as possible. Now, if you're looking for some contact information, it will be pinned down below, but also on the screen. So contact me at the best way it fits and does for you. So now let's switch things up just a little bit. We spoke about areas above Seattle. North of Seattle, they give you the cheapest places to live within this region. Now it's going to get even better when you decide to actually go south. The first place you're going to consider is going to be SeaTac. Now this is going to sound very familiar because you're going to be home of the Seattle-Tacoma International Airport. Now, that does come at a kind of a con because you have to think about this. If you're going to be home to one of the biggest airports on the West Coast, you're going to have a lot of traffic of the airplane noise going back and forth all throughout the day. So that may be a good reason why the average median sale price is $540,000. Now, it is a very welcome thought in comparison to all the properties that are going to be above Seattle, way north of that purchase price. Now, with that con of airplane noise, you are going to have an immense pro because you're only going to be 14 miles away from Seattle. Now, that is a very big benefit because you are going to get all the amenities. And honestly, when it does come to the type of properties in this area, really, there's not going to be any new construction. I'm going to tell you that right now. Maybe it's going to be one of the older style properties from like 1920 to 1950, 60s. So you're going to really have that kind of feel. So if you want that neighborhood vibe, this may not be the actual location for you. You may want to go further south to get that kind of HOA type feeling or that kind of a close-knit type community, because mainly this is the main straight access way all the way to get to Seattle. Now let's head just a little bit further south to Kent. Now, Kent, Washington is only going to be 20 miles away from Seattle, and it's going to be coming at a little bit more of an increase in purchase price. Reason being is that you're going to have more single-family residences and options for some new construction in this area, so it does present a bigger feel for a tighter community. Now, the average median sale price is going to be sitting at $640,000, so there is going to be a price bump because now you're going to have more of a city in comparison to what you're going to be seeing when it does come to SeaTac. Now, in this area of Kent, you're going to have all the amenities that really you do not have to leave this area at all for. Anything you need will be within Kent. But of course, it doesn't stop you from enjoying all the luxuries of Seattle or even going down to Tacoma to enjoy everything that those cities have to offer you. Now, if you want some bigger opportunities and a little bit of a price cut, if you want to go a little bit further south, let's take a look at Federal Way. Within Federal Way, it's going to be around 24 miles distance in comparison. So just think about this. 4 miles away and you shave off $60,000 on your average median sale price. Now, look, I'm not some mathematician here. I'm not a mathematician. But that's a pretty big price cut in comparison if you're going to be considering just a 4-mile difference, shaving off $60,000. When it comes to Federal Way, you are going to be in a less populous area in comparison to Kent, because as you get further north, there's going to be a lot more people in terms of per capita. But you get something that Kent doesn't offer with the views of the Puget Sound. Now, you're going to have Dash Point. You're going to have Browns Point here, located right around the cusp of the edge of Federal Way, that allows you to get precious and beautiful views of the Pacific Northwest. So you get water views at your fingertips, and you get a $580,000 median sale price. I'm not trying to say you can get something by the water for $580,000, but in terms of the price points, you do have the opportunity to get into Federal Way at around $500,000, and of course, anything up and above. Now for a little nugget, Federal Way does have a lot of housing options in terms of the single-family residences or something bigger or smaller if you need it. Now, personally, I am going to be purchasing a property within the Federal Way, like Auburn area, and it's going to be new construction as well, because to me, being 24 miles away from Seattle is going to be a big benefit. And personally, for me, this is a little nugget. I am buying some new construction in the Federal Way Auburn area because my wife works at Boeing, and it does help with the commute in comparison to what she currently has in Tacoma. So, pros and cons of distances, and of course, price points as well. Personally, I think Federal Way is going to be a great option for anyone because they have everything that you could possibly need for your family needs. Now we're going to have Tacoma. Now, Tacoma is going to be 34 miles away from Seattle, but of course, I gave the little nugget that my wife and myself, we're moving a little further up north to Federal Way Auburn because of the commute. It's 10 miles. Now, of course, when you're driving that every single day, you could feel some type of different way because you're going through traffic. But of course, that's going to be for you or whoever that wants to take it their own way. Now, Tacoma is going to be one of the more affordable, the most affordable in Pierce County when it does come to being in a good region right close to Seattle. The affordability for Tacoma presents a good opportunity for people that are trying to get into their first property, because you can get into Tacoma for around $300,000 to $390,000 as like a base point. But of course, that home is going to be older than you and me. But if you are reaching a higher price point of Tacoma, you're going to be looking around the northern end. And of course, anything you get close to University Place and all the little suburbs of Tacoma. But that is going to be for your jurisdiction on price point. But I'm telling you, the affordability within Tacoma is pretty beautiful at times. Tacoma has endless amenities when it does come to anything that you'd actually want to do if you're going to want to stay within the city limits. They have all the food options, all the activities, they have the waterfront views, they have anything you could really ask for in terms of you trying to go out there and really enjoy yourself. And you really, honestly, you don't need to leave Tacoma unless you want to go to some of these larger sporting events. But luckily for you, Tacoma also has a AAA baseball team with the Tacoma Rainiers, but sometimes you do want to see the pros play. At the end of the day, Tacoma does present a valuable and very good option for families that are actually trying to get into their property, because the type of properties that are present for a housing situation is endless. You have waterfront condos, you have beautiful modern condos, you have the older ones. So you also have townhouses, you have single-family residences, and unfortunately, there isn't much new construction here within this area. You're going to have to go to one of the suburbs of Tacoma, more than like Puyallup, for example. When it does come to the housing within Tacoma, you're going to have plentiful amount of options. Speaking of Puyallup, at 37 miles away, this is going to be probably one of the better locations for you to consider if you want that white picket fence HOA type lifestyle with a tight community, because honestly, when you're living within Puyallup, you're going to be having a good purchase price when it does come to an average median sale price of $565,000. Now, with this price point, you're going to have all the amenities of what you would need. Now, the only downside to Puyallup, I'm going to be honest with you, because I used to live there as well, is going to be the possibility of having some traffic, because honestly, Meridian, the main street that goes down straight through after you get through 512, it's going to be very packed at times when you'll be going in the morning and the afternoon when people are commuting for work. The drive at 37 miles can be a lot at times, but of course, Puyallup is going to be a big region. Now, for example, if you're going to be living on the south part of Puyallup, this is when your traffic and your commute can really compound upon you. But if you're living on the northern portion, it's honestly not too bad, because you have quick and easy access to 512 and 167. Now, of course, if you what are these numbers he's saying? 512 is going to be the freeway action that comes off of I-5. Now, with 512, you have the opportunity to take 167 or I-5. But of course, if you're living on the northern portion of Puyallup, you do have a reasonable opportunity for commute, and honestly, it isn't too bad. Living within the Puyallup limits does present a beautiful opportunity for you, because they do have every single thing you could imagine when it does come to the housing and living situation of properties in this area. Even to this day, there's still a ton of new construction opportunities here within Puyallup, because honestly, this is going to be a larger region that has grown immensely. But I mean immensely, there has been a lot of housing that's been put up within this area, causing to some of the traffic. So if you're trying to find some affordable housing, I just gave you 10 locations, 5 up north and 5 in the south, that give you a reasonable opportunity for some housing opportunities. Now, I am going to have a form below. With that form below, will help you in reaching out to get in contact so I can assist you as best I can. But of course, do not forget to subscribe as well. If you enjoyed this video, I have another one about 15 things that you might not be able to handle about Seattle. Now, of course, I'm going to give you this link right here, and I'm going to catch you over there, and let's talk about it together.